When the Toyota Aygo was launched over 20 years ago, it brought with it a load of promises. Promises like low ownership and running costs, funky styling, and of course, impeccable reliability. And it delivered on all fronts. Now, 2 decades later, little has changed, apart from the fact it's got a little funkier and it's got some of the latest technology. Underneath, it shares much with the Citroën C1 and the Peugeot 107, which later went on to be the Peugeot 108. But over time, it's become more individual with its styling and also the extras it's included. Now though, the competition in the city car segment is as competitive as ever. So does the Toyota Aygo still have what it takes to cut it in this segment? Well, that's what we're going to find out in today's video. We're going to take a good look around the Toyota Aygo, talk through some of the different engines and spec that are available, and talk through the key things that you need to be looking out for when purchasing one. When the Toyota Aygo was originally launched in 2005, it was a co-partnership between Peugeot and Citroën. At the time, other than some headlamps and badging, there was little to tell it apart from its Citroën C1 and Peugeot 107/108 siblings. But as they've evolved, they've taken on their own identity, and the Aygo really stands out with its bold colours and comic book hero face. Whereas most cars have grown in size over the years, the Aygo's dinky dimensions have remained. This is a car that's designed for life in built-up areas. There's very little when it comes to overhangs at the front and rear, which means placing it on the road, squeezing it through gaps in the traffic, and parking in the tightest of spaces is a piece of cake. Inside the cabin is everything you'd expect for a small city car. It's simplicity itself. It's pretty clutter-free and everything has been grouped together just to make it easy to use. In front of the driver, there's one dial which shows you your speed, and even on the steering wheel, the number of buttons that have been put on here are limited just to make life easier. In the middle of the dash, there's a touchscreen infotainment system, which you get on higher spec models, and that controls everything from your radio, your navigation, and your phone connectivity. I wouldn't say it's got a premium fit and finish here. This is a budget city car after all, but I wouldn't say it feels overtly cheap either. You get some nice piano black gloss, which does help give a much more upmarket feel. The only thing I will say about that is it does get a bit fingerprinty and you get to see quite a lot of dust over time, so you might find yourself dusting quite a lot. There is also the settings for your climate control or air conditioning, depending on which spec model you've got, and that's neatly integrated underneath the touchscreen system. You also get a USB charger for your phone too. Now, if you find yourself carrying people on a regular basis, the good news is that the Aygo is a 5-door. There used to be a time where city cars used to be 3 doors, which meant getting in the back was something of an undignified process, but you have 2 extra doors at the back. Now, anyone who does sit in the back isn't going to want to be there for a particularly long journey. This is a compact car, so if you have anyone who's 6 foot in the back, they won't want to be going too far. And again, this isn't a car that's designed to do long distance journeys. This is for short city commutes and little running around town jobs. Likewise, in the boot, again, it's very small and compact. You can extend it further by folding down the split 50/50 rear seats, but realistically, you're not going to get too much in there. Now onto the business of trim levels. Altogether, there are 7 that are available, with entry-level X-Play models getting 15-inch wheels, LED daytime running lights, aircon, front electric windows, and USB connectivity. Expanding up the range starts to add different size wheels and extra kit, but the one that we would focus on is the Express Upwards, as this adds alloy wheels, climate control, and 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system. Now, deciding which engine to plump for won't be that much of a struggle. There's only one, a slightly updated version of the 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol unit, which produces 68 brake horsepower. This was later increased to 71 brake horsepower during a 2018 facelift. If you do require slightly more oomph, then it's worth considering opting for either the Citroën C1 or Peugeot 108. They're virtually identical underneath. The only difference is they get a 1.2 litre petrol engine with 81 brake horsepower. As you'd expect, running costs are pretty impressive for such a small engine. Drive it carefully and you should get a claimed return of around 68.9 miles per gallon, plus it emits just 95 grams per kilometre of CO2, which will help keep road tax bills down too. Now, most versions come with a 5-speed manual gearbox, but the clutch does ride quite high, so I would recommend getting used to that. But if you hunt around, there are some 5-speed automatic versions out there too, just in fewer numbers, and will command a premium. So what's it like to drive? Well, as you'd expect for a city car, the Aygo is most at home in and around built-up areas. To really get the most out of it, you really do need to work the gearbox quite hard, and you do need to rev that engine, but its dinky dimensions means it's great for zipping through tight traffic and squeezing into small parking spaces. And speaking of parking, that light and direct steering really does help on that front, along with really big windows both at the front and at the sides. The ride is a little on the firm side though, which means that when you're going over slightly bigger potholes, it can crash into the cabin. But overall, body lean is well composed. So what should you be looking out for when buying? Well, Toyota is a brand that prides itself on reliability. There are a few things that we would suggest looking out for though when purchasing. According to our data, the wiper motor is one of the most expensive and common issues that needs replacing and will cost around £636. So when you're looking, just give the wipers a quick test to make sure all the speeds are working and it's not making any unnatural sounds. Also, the indicator switch is another common issue, costing £448 to fix, so check that it's working. And also check the service history to see if it's something that's been a fault in the past. Finally, the O2 sensor may also need replacing, and that costs £585. So again, just have a quick scan through the service history and see if it's something that's been an issue in the past. So to sum up, the Toyota Aygo is a well put together city car that's cheap to buy and run. Now, in these days of spiraling costs, few cars are going to be as easy on the wallet as the Aygo when it comes to fuel, insurance and servicing. And with it being a Toyota, you're also getting an impeccable reliability record. Now, despite its dinky dimensions and small engine, it's going to be more than capable of coping with city life, whether you're commuting daily or just using it for trips to the shop. And the fact that there's only one engine available means that it's simple to decide which one to go for. In fact, the only question you're going to have is which trim you should opt for. And for us, we'd go for Express or above, as you'll get climate control, DAB radio, touchscreen infotainment system and alloy wheels. Thanks for watching this used car review of the Toyota Aygo. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give us a like. And if you want to see more videos like this one, then please subscribe to the channel, hitting that bell icon so you're notified every time we upload a new video.